Last week we sadly lost one of the most influential movie makers ever, David Lynch. David Lynch, the creator of Twin Peaks, Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet, and so much more. If you never saw any of his work, you missed out. The thing is, he inspired countless other movie makers, and in this video I want to highlight some of those inspirations. Some might come as a surprise. Let's have a look. Throughout my whole life, there only have been a handful of celebrities that passed away and left me with the feeling that the world and the industry that they were active in was poorer because of them dying, and that the world in general will never be the same again. And some of those names might surprise you, but those are Michael Jackson, David Bowie, Robin Williams, and now, since last week, David Lynch. What I always found to be the genius in David Lynch's work was that it was never perfect. His movies and series were never made for the general audience, but almost all of them had an impact. On an individual level, you either liked or hate some of his movies. While hate might be a little harsh, but definitely kind of getting you out of your comfort zone. And I'm not even talking about his work in general. This is very movie specific. You could love one movie and dislike another so much, which has left him overall, in my opinion, very underappreciated.
What's underappreciated?
Under the what?
He was a bit of an acquired taste, but an acquired taste that was appreciated by some of the greats. Greats that managed to reap way more success with his style of movies than he ever did. I think it is both the curse and the blessing of a creator that does not adhere to the rules set by the people before them, but that just do it because that is the way they like to do it. He will be missed, but that is exactly the reason why I'm squeezing in this video, to pay tribute to David Lynch. And I'm not going to try and highlight his best work, which is near impossible, and I do think a lot of other people are attempting to do that, so there's plenty of videos out there. But I actually want to look at the people that he influenced and that made some really amazing work thanks to what he brought to the table. Now Lynch was, I think, best known for Twin Peaks. It was his greatest success. This series was the first time, at least in my perception, where people were talking about a television series at the water cooler. Now, I was a little too young to watch it myself back in the day. I got to see it later in life, but at that time I remember adults talking about the series. It really changed the concept of a TV series. So it's not a surprise to see a lot of other series, newer series, that are inspired by Twin Peaks. And I think the easy, low-hanging fruit here is the X-Files. That series sure had its Lynchian moments, but it also had that same kind of cultural impact, much like Twin Peaks did. Less likely comparisons, yet confirmed by the creators that they were inspired by Twin Peaks and Lynch in general, are series like The Sopranos or Mad Men. And I think each for their own reasons, if you think about it. I mean, yeah, you can draw the lines. Danny Glover apparently stated that he wanted Atlanta, his television series, to be Twin Peaks with rappers. Like musical rappers, not like paper rappers. Sorry. But that got him the same type of criticism that David Lynch often got. But both Glover and Lynch just ended up including all of that feedback, all of that pushback they got into the actual series. Mr. Robot, it is one of my all-time favorite series, and it is heavily influenced by all of Lynch's movies, according to the creator Sam Esmail, especially season 2. On top of that, there's a lot of nudges and Easter eggs, kind of tributes to all of Lynch's work throughout the series. It really had that Lynchian surrealism written into it, and it challenged the viewers to kind of fill the gaps that were left. Gaps caused by the mental state of the main character, Elliot. But leaving those gaps in the actual story left you with that same feeling of unease that Elliot must have gone through. Now, beyond the small screen, Lynch also had his impact on cinema. I mean, yeah, that is a bit of an understatement. Tarantino, another great movie maker of our time, but in a very different way, has also been influenced by Lynch. Although, in the last few years, he has been rather unkind towards Lynch. He was quoted saying, "After I saw Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me at Cannes, David Lynch has disappeared so far up his own ass that I have no desire to see another David Lynch movie until I hear something different." But like I said, at one point, David Lynch was a huge inspiration for Tarantino. Especially movies like Blue Velvet and Wild at Heart definitely kind of set the tone. If anything, I think Tarantino kind of commercialized what Lynch was doing, but on one end kind of grounding the whole story, but also by putting a spotlight on what drives any Lynch movie, and that is obsession. Something that both of these creators are very well experienced with. Yeah. And that is also a recurring theme in Enemy, a movie by Denis Villeneuve. Now, Denis Villeneuve later got the chance to work on the still ongoing Dune trilogy, and with great success. An adventure that David Lynch himself also tried many years ago, but kind of failed at. Now, while David Lynch wasn't too fond of that movie himself, I personally kind of still enjoy it. I talked about this in a previous video. I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. The anime featured Jake Gyllenhaal, who was also the lead in Donnie Darko, another movie that took a few pages out of Lynch's book, but managed to somewhat make it accessible to a younger audience. Interesting movie. One of my all-time favorite horror movies is Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Here's Johnny!
And apparently Kubrick took a lot of inspiration from one of my least favorite Lynch movies, Eraserhead. To be fair, I watched Eraserhead in a room filled with friends and people that had, how do I say this, partaken. And I was the only sober person in that whole room. That experience definitely left a certain flavor in my mouth for that whole movie. I can't watch it. It just brings me back to that moment, which was surreal to say the least. But according to a lot of people, it is a Lynch classic. Like I said, David Lynch's movies can be a hit or a miss, depending on who is watching them. I don't think we're ever going to see a movie maker like that anytime soon. You know what? His work will live on for centuries. Through his own movies and series, but also to all of these people that he influenced. Both the people I just listed, but also the hundreds, maybe thousands of people that I did not list in this video, because there's many. But tell me, which was your favorite Lynch movie? Let me know in the comments. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank our members. We could not make these videos without you guys. You too can become part of the Geek and Plunder family by becoming a member right here on YouTube. Now, if you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye-bye.